Hey everybody, we're going to find out today if pulling out some stock springs in our Chevelle with some new 1-inch UMI drop springs is worth it or not. So right now we've got stock height UMI higher rate springs. The fender opening is right about 25 1/4. That tire is about a 26-inch tire, maybe a little bit less, 25 1/2. So we'll find out. What we're running under the hood is a big block Chevy, but it's been lightened a little bit. It's got aluminum heads, aluminum intake. Do have aluminum radiator with some Ford Windstar fans on it. I'm running the mini starter with these headers. And I put it on the scale just under 600 pounds. It's my understanding that an LS setup fully dressed is about 400, some 200 above that. I weighed it under 600 pounds. I still had the flex plate on it. I'll put that pick up. Let's see how much it actually drops. All right, got them out. Got them next to each other on the bench. And the new one is measuring right at 15 1/2, and the other one is measuring right at 14 1/2. So that makes sense. What I found interesting is they're both 9 coils if you count them all the way up. I've got the bottoms aligned pretty good. And this one's actually just a hair bit taller, same number of coils. It's just stretched slightly more. What I was kind of expecting was that the tall one was going to be the short one with just like a half a coil cut out, but that's actually not the case. I know on this regular rate springs for a big block, if you cut out one coil, it's about a 2-inch drop, and that's what I got when I did mine. But if you kind of line that up like I've decided to cut a half a coil out, the bottom isn't. So it's probably the same thing, just stretched up a little bit and a hair bit longer. So I'll get the other one tore down and out on the bench. Okay, about to put the spring back in. Got the spring here, got the old one out. And on these are some alignment issues you should have to be aware of. Look at this bump right here. Get the light on it for you. It's a little raised in indentation, and this part of the spring goes right in there. So that sits in there. Then this side of the spring goes up, and if you notice it's flat. Well, that has to fit right up into a pocket. So you can sit there. So you have a really heavier, shorter piece of metal, and then there's a ridge here, it's smaller. And so a lot of people, you can see where it clears that one, but then it ends up sitting on top of that one, and the car ends up sitting, rides way high, and you have to tear it all back down. Ask me how I know. But anyway, so I'm going to stick these springs in, carry mine both of those, and get that lined up down there on the bottom, and we'll see how it looks. Spring is in. You can see the big pocket there on your right, and the small one's a little hard to make out, but I looked at it. It is in. Then you can see it's, maybe you can't. It's there though. It's in a good spot. We'll get the rest of it together. Take a look at this. Even though I was careful, this one still did not line up right. If you can see up in there, just to the on the bottom, you can see the spring is actually laying on top of that ear after all this. So I'm going to have to undo it, bring it back down, and try to get that centered in. It is not what you want. and they're on, and wow. It is a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. In fact, it might be too low. Looks great. Back end looks like it's too tall now. But it actually dropped quite a bit more. I'm running log 2 big block headers, and those are about 2¼ inches off the ground. And I don't know, that might be a little too low. Grab a tape measure here. So was it 25.5, and that's approaching 23.5, and they haven't settled down yet. That's a 2-inch drop. Might have to look at those springs and maybe check the part number. Right now it's a full 4 inches down, and I'd be willing to give it a shot, except for those headers they're right there, and I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is take the old springs, maybe just cut a little bit off of them and put those right back in, and I'll save these. I've got another Chevelle in storage I'm going to be pulling out in a bit, and I think they're going to go into that. But I like the look, but I think it's just a little bit too low. So back into it we go. It didn't work out. I even checked the part numbers. These are the 1-inch drop springs, and the ones I just put back in are the stock height springs. This dropped it at least 2 inches, if not a hair bit more, once they settled in. I've got my original ride height back, and I was thinking of maybe chopping on these a little bit to just get it down where I wanted. And I decided I didn't want to tear into it anymore. I got other stuff going on. I think this winter I'm going to go ahead and go to coilovers, which gives you a lot more adjustability. As of now, these are going to go in a different Chevelle in the future, and I'm just going to go. So I think the conclusion was it worth it on the front spring install? For me, no. No, obviously it wasn't. They gave me the height I wanted, and I had to pull them back out. I'm not going to do much about it. I mean, every situation is different, and I'm kind of confused about why this happened. Maybe the sticker got put on the 2-inch drop spring. That would make sense to me. I don't know, but these will go on a 68 Chevelle. Those will stay in there, and I'm just gonna move on. Thanks for watching.